Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam, Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir rahmanir rahim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fis-silmi kaffatan wa la tattabi'u khutuwatish shaitan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O those who believe. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is turning to the believers and saying, enter, udkhulu. So udkhulu is in Arabic is called a fel amr, it's a command. Dakhala is the verb, past tense. Udkhulu is to enter. So Allah subhanahu, we need to pay attention because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is given a command to enter. Enter al-Islam completely and do not follow the footsteps of Shaitan. Surely for you he is an open enemy. Shaitan is not hiding anywhere, he's an open enemy, and he's in the Quran. Shaitan says that I will wait for the believers on the Siratul Mustaqim, in front, behind, on the right and on the left. But there's two positions that Shaitan does not mention in the Quran. One is above and one is below. So understand that's the vertical connection that we inshallah ta'ala must work for. Okay? That vertical connection, that divine order. We must be part of that. The vertical connection coming down, which is the Quran. We must connect ourselves to the Quran in every way. And to the bottom, forehead to the ground, which is our sajda, which is the second pillar of al-Islam. So in the ayat, kafa means totally. It means universally. So enter Islam. You've said. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you are a Muslim. You have declared yourselves not just a Muslim but a believer. So enter Islam completely, universally. And silmi is al-Islam, means to submit. So when we talk about Islam being the religion of peace, it can only mean peace when we submit. And we must submit and follow by looking, observing, contemplating, by following the creation, which is the macro. The macro is submitting. It's submitting to the commands, the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise, we must also follow. Okay, what's in the macro is in the micro as well. And if we don't do that, then Shaitan will show us certain paths, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us, that we might even think is Islam. Or we might think, okay, well that's not haram, so I can do it. So, not everything which is halal is good for you, okay? But haram is haram, and mustahab, etc. So we need to know, the basics of our deen. Sadly, so many Muslims in the world, as the ulama are saying, they're not even praying 5 times a day. Maybe they go for Jummah. There's no identification that they are Muslims, and they have no comprehension of the Quran. They can't even recite the Quran. So there's no relationship there at all. So that means that there's no relationship with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So enter Islam completely. So, we need to know what is authentic Islam, what's culture Islam, what is being a correct, authentic Muslim, and what is culture Muslim. And that's in our societies today. Just because your father, your mother, your grandfather done something or is doing something, does it make it correct? So, we mustn't be ignorant. In the same way, we mustn't go have this ghafla, this heedlessness about what's going on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us aql, so we've got to use it, okay? And we've got to be in the company of the ulama, reach out to them as much as possible. Because in Surah Al-Fatiha, you know, this is a surah that we are reciting 5 times a day. We are continually asking for guidance. And the guidance is what? The guidance is the Quran. Because it's there in the first ayat after Surah Al-Fatiha. Because the first ayat in Surah Al-Baqarah is dhalika. Dhalika means that. This is why don't get too fixed on the translations, because the majority of translations in English will say this. Well, hada is this, means close. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying dhalika. And the kitab is the Quran. And it is a guidance, and it is for the muttaqeen. So be careful of the footsteps of shaitan. Okay? And as we come towards the end of times, then these footsteps of shaitan will be everywhere. So we really need to be observant of what's going on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.